Welcome back to the Printerverse, Day 2 Graph Expo. I want to thank the people that are in the booth and more if you're around. This is a very important panel. This is Evolution Revolution, the new age of industry orgs. We have some great representation here. Okay, let's start off really simply with who you are and what your organization, what is the mission of your organization and who do you represent? Let's start with you, Skip, a little introduction. Okay, yeah, that's actually easier.
That's easier.
We should have done that all day, by the way.
That's what I am, a solutions kind of guy.
You actually are. 8 panels and everyone's passing the microphone stand back.
There you go. My name's Skip Hank. I'm the president and CEO of Explorer International. Explorer International is a 35-year-old association dedicated to the digital document and customer communications industry. So we started out as a Xerox users group back in the early 70s and have evolved over the years. Our mission, like many other associations, is to provide the tools, the education, the content, and programming that allow people to be successful within their corporations.
Hi, I'm Carmen Goen with IPMA. IPMA is Implant Printing and Mailing Association, and we've actually been around since 1964, so we just celebrated our 50th year birthday or anniversary. And much like Skip, we also, we want to be the key industry leader as far as networking, education, problem solving for the implant industry. Implant meaning in-house printing and mailing association.
Thank you very much. And before Mr. Nappy speaks, I just want to, first of all, personally thank you for everything you have done. I don't want to start crying, but for everything you have done for me as far as allowing me this space at this show, for everything you have done for the community by keeping this show alive and as thriving as it is, and especially for joining us today. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. My pleasure, Deborah. And the reason why this show does so well is because people like you and partners that we have here at the table. I mean, let's face it, all of us have a very high level of interest in the success of Graph Expo in our industry, and all of you bring a lot to the table to make that so I appreciate it. And thank you, Deborah, for all your efforts to do this. Many of you that aren't here, I wish you could see what Deborah and her staff have done here, because it's pretty exciting. NPES actually represents manufacturers of pre-press and post-press equipment. Many of the people in this show here are members of NPES. We've been around for about 80 years, a little over 80 years, and our primary focus, not unlike many of the others, is not only to represent our members, but we find ourselves focused on 3 major core competencies, and that's research and data and statistics to help our members manage their business. Commerce, this show helps our members sell in the U.S. and actually the Americas, South America too, and then our international offices help our members export. And then certainly when we talk about the educational programs and standards that we offer, that's an important part of what we do.
Thank you very much. Mr. Michael Macon.
Well, thank you very much, Deborah, and welcome everyone to the Printerverse. I was caught playing with my alien here, so I just better be careful. First of all, it's a pleasure to be here, and Printing Industries of America is the largest graphic arts trade association in the world, and we have been around since 1887. Clearly, I have not been around that long. I'm much younger, but our organization has been around, and essentially we started to become an organization to represent the interests of printers dealing with taxation policies and those sort of issues. So we've always been focused on the legislative front, so advocacy figures prominently in our mission statement, as well as research, education, benchmarking tools to help our members operate profitably, because our fundamental mission is to ensure that our members operate a profitable company that will continue going into the future.
And actually, I'll stick with you, and that ties very nicely into the next question, which is, can you describe the shift in your organization over the last 5 years and where you're steering skills and education for the next 5 years, please?
Well, that's a great question. As we all know, Printing Industries of America merged with the former Graphic Arts Technical Foundation, And many years we offered hands-on training with ostensibly a very large and sophisticated implant operation. So we had $25 million worth of printing equipment where we would educate the industry on trends and how to operate machinery, etc. As, of course, the industry has changed, our model changed. And so now that education delivery is more like you're doing right now, over the internet and 365 days a year, 24/7 with our integrated learning center. And we're seeing the future of training very much continuing along that path.
And I'd like to just give you a little kudos. The whole reason I have live stream here is because I watched your integrated print conference over the internet, and I was like, why didn't I know this was possible? Of course, you had it like, it was like TV, you had commercials in between. It was one of the most, I was riveted. I did not leave my computer screen all day. So thank you, and Julie, for giving me this idea. Mr. Nappi, good with the question, or you need to repeat it? Oh.
No.
Okay. Describe the shift of MPS over the last 5 years in your organization and where you're steering. You're a little different, but where you're steering your focus.
Right. I would tell you, we've all seen what has happened with the industry, and it's hard not to, whether you want to or not, you've had to find a way to adapt and change the business. And again, even if you don't, you're forced to anyway. For the printing equipment manufacturers, a lot of it revolves around finding a way to sell product outside the United States. The market in the U.S., from an equipment perspective, is saturated. The growth for equipment sales in the U.S. is only anywhere from, depending on the equipment, 0, arguably negative growth in some areas, to 2 or 3% on the high side, all right? So much of what we've tried to help our members do is not just adapt the business, but recognize if you're not exporting, if you're not looking at, if equipment is your only service, if you're not exporting, you're going to have a hard time surviving. And if the U.S. is your only market, finding ways to create services and programs that help the customers use their equipment better.
And you have an international program, don't you?
Yes, we have offices in 4 countries, Russia, China, India, and Brazil.
They call those the BRIC nations, right?
The BRIC, exactly. And not only that, but we're very active in pavilions in other parts of the world. For the Drupa, we do a pavilion for the Drupa show. So we're very active in trying to help our members sell outside the United States.
Thanks very much. Karma?
Hi. Well, so for the last 5 years or so, our industry really hasn't changed because we're in an implant industry, and the biggest part that we have to struggle with is staying relevant and justification of the implant itself. So, what we're trying to do here at IPMA is we're working really heavily with our sponsors and our vendors, our suppliers, to help our implants find new things to do. So, it's not just print anymore, like Michael had said. It's very much internet based, and the more I look into it, it's like it's not your grandfather's implant anymore, right? It's it's a whole new generation. So we're just benchmarking new tools and services and different things that implants can do to stay relevant within their own association or their own company.
Thanks very much. Skip?
Can I get another question? No. Explorer, as I mentioned, started out as a users group years ago, and for many years our transfer of information and networking and sharing was supported by chapter meetings, national conference, and the like, much like many associations around the world. What we found over the last 5 to 7 years is the key, there was actually 2, the key is to get the information to our members in the industry when, where, and how they want to receive it. Now, events like this, you've got to assume there are fewer people here than are here, because there's a lot of people that want to be here, but their budgets don't allow it. This is the largest show in North America, and but there's people out there that need information. So, as my colleagues mentioned, you have to provide that stuff online, and it has to be accessible to them. You have to constantly adapt your content with changes in technology and changes in human behavior driven by that technology. We're all communicating different. If people are not doing programming based on mobile technology, they're a little bit behind the curve because that's how our, Gen X and Y and Z people are getting their information. So it's relevancy, it's flexibility, and what's in it for the member or the person that you're representing.
Thanks very much. And, okay, so now I have a bunch of questions that are, oh, hey, welcome.
Hey, Joe.
So, actually, let me just ask you, as long as you're here, Mr. Lyman, just first of all, you could, before you start, you can introduce yourself and the organization you represent, and then, if you can, after you finish with your selfie, you can let everybody know the shift in your organization over the last 5 years and where you're steering education-wise for the next 5 years. That was just the first question, so you're not that late.
Absolutely. Thank you again. I apologize for being late. Deborah, thank you so much for inviting me to participate. My name is Joe Lyman. I'm with the Great Lakes Graphics Association. We're located in Pewaukee, Wisconsin. We represent Wisconsin, Illinois, Indiana, printers, finishers, binders, and vendors throughout the industry. It's interesting that you say 5 years. I've actually been with the association a little more than 5 years now. And it's been a monumental change. Everything from structurally, also what we can do to better serve our members, as well as value-added prospects in the marketplace. And it's not just been from a process of understanding how we can do things better, everything from engaging the customer and having higher participation, but also the types of education we provide. And I think there's lots of different things that are happening in the industry, everything from electronic component printing that engages the customer, has better interaction and engagement, and integrating that into printed materials, but also market service providing. Technology is huge, understanding how you can provide efficiencies and economies of scale, how to be the first source vendor for the process. So being able to take 3 or 4 processes and actually do it at one facility. But, one of the big things is understanding what your customers want and need and trying to fulfill that. So there's a lot of things that we're trying to do in terms of engaging, understanding in terms of surveys, what people need, but then be able to deliver that in a meaningful way.
And we actually have specific questions for all of you. I'll just keep it with you if you don't mind. So, Mr. Lyman, what they wanted to know is, as a regional organization, how do you balance the local needs of GLGA members and with national trends? And do they ever conflict?
I don't think they ever conflict. I believe that we're learning more and more about how beneficial delivery of services are. And a lot of times that service doesn't need to be local. A lot of times people need the information regardless of where they're located. A lot of that information is very, what's the word I'm looking for, broad. Most printers need the same sorts of information, education. I'm sorry. Most of the printers that we represent all tend to need the same types of information, whether it be finding good, qualified people, being able to understand technologies. The internet's been a great resource for us because now we can deliver a whole host of different types of value-added services, benefits through the internet. So it's been a great, as much as people want to, on the commercial side, really vilify the internet, it's been a great resource for us.
Thank you very much. Okay, Mr. Macon, I have a multi-parter for you.
Oh, child.
Okay, get ready. Hold on. So first of all, has there been a significant loss of printers in the industry? How is PIA helping?
You better go slow for him, one at a time, okay?
One at a time?
No, it's good. I'm multi-channel possible.
Okay. Has there been, nobody really knows if that's true or not. Has there been a significant loss of printers in the industry? How is PIA helping printers adapt to the electronic world? And how do you balance attracting new members to your offerings without alienating the current ones?
Those are all excellent questions. I can tell you just from statistically, if we look at our industry, the high point was probably 1994 in terms of, you can hear me?
It's a little too loud.
Oh, that's too loud.
Yeah.
Excuse me. The high point as far as our industry was concerned was 1994. We probably had 50-odd thousand printing facilities, unique printing facilities, not including implants. in the United States of America, and by 2020, we'll see that number down to about 27,000. So yes, the industry has lost a significant number of printers. It's part of the reality that we face, consolidations, companies going out of business, companies that no longer are relevant, and it's a challenge. Our organization, of course, is on the planet, in the printer universe, to actually help companies understand the technologies that are important to stay in business, to understand the economic trends that are important in business, and to make sure that they are can benchmark their performance against profit leaders. So it's difficult because a lot of our offerings, as you point out, do suggest that printers need to embrace, among other things, digital media, do suggest that printers get into, for example, potential mobile marketing. So those intuitively are not common sense for a traditional commercial printer, but there are things that can make a difference to see companies survive. So as these companies diversify and change, they have a much greater likelihood of surviving. We have actually not had too much pushback from our membership. It's pretty enlightened, and they understand that as long as we're still focusing on print and not getting rid of print. That's why Printing Industries of America still has print in the name. That's why we're very proud of print. That's why I'm very evangelical about the printing industry and speak all the time about our $150 billion a year industry and just how significant it is, and how print in no way, shape, or form is dead. So that's why an organization like mine exists.
Thank you so much for that. Mr. Nappy, you touched upon this a little, but I'm still going to ask the question. Logic would say if there are fewer printers, your members are making fewer sales. First, is that true? And second, how does the NPES provide value for its members in regard to opening up new revenue channels in the U.S. and elsewhere?
Right. So, no, your statement is accurate. I mean, there are less printers. The investments they're making are smaller than they were. Consequently, the sales for our members have gone down over the last 5-6 years. What I had mentioned before is one of the primary areas from a broad perspective is export. But in the U.S., a lot of it has to do with helping our members, helping their customers operate and run their equipment more efficiently and more effectively, getting more out of it, working it harder, working it longer, working in ways that it wasn't done in the past. But other than that, there's not a lot of magic to this. It's good old-fashioned elbow grease. A world we live in right now, and the print industry is clearly one of a consolidated industry. And like Michael said, I agree. But the bottom line is when I talk about industry, notwithstanding our challenges, all right, we're still a $150 billion industry. So the pie is smaller, but that pie is pretty damn big.
Right.
And the reality of it is it's about focusing on that. Just as we talk about a show like this. This show reflects our industry. That's not good, that's not bad, that's reality. And for those people that say, oh, wow, the show is smaller, I'm going to say, no, there's a show here, and people are walking this hall interested in learning about and buying equipment and learning about new technology. That's the glass half full. So that's what we try to focus on in that message, and not being Pollyanna, but saying, again, $150 billion, something's going on out there, gang.
Right.
So be part of it.
Right. Thanks so much. Okay, Ms. Goyne. Ms. Goyne? Mrs. Goyne? Mrs. Goyne. Okay, Goyne. Okay. So this is an interesting question, I thought. Are there opportunities for implants to bring new print and marketing ideas to their companies and institutions? Are there opportunities for additional revenue streams for them to open up to the public? And how does IPMA provide value for that endeavor? And if not, should you help them?
Oh, well, absolutely. We should help them. That's what we're here for as an association. But yeah, the first part of the question again?
Do the implants have the opportunities to bring new print marketing ideas to their companies and institutions, and how are you helping them get that information?
Yeah, I think they do, and they should. And this actually is a perfect place to find a lot of those new ideas. like you said, it's a 150. We're like 13 billion. We're a smaller pie. We're the in-plant pie of the printing division. But yeah, they should. There's all kinds of things. I mean, you have to justify their existence, why they're there for their parent company, why they're printing for their parent company, and they have to expand to that. It's not just. I mean, it's not just print. It's marketing. It's communication. So, how are you communicating your parent organization to the outside world? So, yeah, you have to market it any way that you can, and use your vendors, use your suppliers, and find out what they can do to help you do that, because that's the best way I've seen. They have a lot of great ideas to give you. You've just got to open up and offer it. And, with IPMA, as a help, as a resource, we are working on brand new tools for them to do that. And one of the biggest things for implants is we're huge on networking. And I think most associations can say that. But we've just opened up a new community online to where we can put in resources, samples, surveys. It's not just an old listserv anymore. It's listserv on steroids, basically. So yeah, they absolutely should, and yeah, we should be helping them, and we are working at doing that, transforming our association into making it a better place for the implants.
Thanks so much, Mr. Hank.
Yes.
So, technology has shifted significantly for high-volume printers and mailers in regards to automation and personalization, making the process faster and more cost-effective. At the same time, electronic options for bills and statements are causing a decrease in print volumes. How does Explore help members navigate the opportunities for their services in this electronic space?
Well, I think it goes back to what I mentioned in terms of our members. This whole thing is about looking at how people want information, what format they want it, the whole concept of multi-channel and omni-channel. Print will always remain, in my opinion. In fact, if you ever have another panel on the comeback of direct mail, I'd like to be part of that, because I think print is always going to be a key element within the whole customer communications process. Now, what I think the new technology has enabled and has empowered people, if you look at some of the inkjet technology and you look at some of the applications on this floor, is allows the flexibility, the one-to-one communication, the personalization. I've seen more, personalized objects that have been manipulated and wrapped around products and that type of thing. And that is where this industry is headed. It's about talking and creating a one-to-one relationship with the person that you are in fact communicating with. So what's important from our perspective is, print's going to be around for a while. People are going to want mobile. I prefer mobile and print, quite honestly. You might prefer something different. But the important thing that Explorer has to do, and all of us here, because all of this is starting to bleed together very, very nicely, is we've got to make sure we communicate with our customers and prospects as to how they want to receive information.
That's very important.
And actually, Skip, I'll stay with you for 1 second before I turn it over to Sandy. I just want to make sure that everybody understands that besides Graph Expo, you also do have conferences or attend user groups and stuff. So maybe you could talk a little bit about the upcoming Explore event quickly, and then we'll turn it over to anyone else who you have more events, Mr. Nappy, and we'll talk about a couple of events people can attend that way, and then we'll turn it over to the home questions from home.
Well, Explorer, is about information. Tomorrow, actually, we have a breakfast, Explorer at Graph Expo breakfast about omni-channel. If you haven't registered, if you go up to room 426A in the morning at 7:30, great breakfast. The food here is excellent, and we're doing a panel on omni-channel, but moderated by Matt Swain of InfoTrends. We have that. We also do about 25 or 30 educational webinars throughout the year. We do some individual small meetings around the country. And then in April 5th through the 7th, 2016, we're having a conference at the Caribe Royale in Orlando, Florida, that will focus on all of the elements of the customer experience and if you go to www.explorer.org, you can get some more information.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Karma?
Hey, yeah, as we also have an annual conference, and we were just at the Carib, so you're going to have a great time there. It's a great facility. But yeah, we have an annual conference every year. It's typically in June, and June 20th through the 25th, 2016 in Denver, Colorado, where we not only have in-plant sessions, we also have a vendor fair as well. It's a smaller vendor fair, about 40 to 50 vendors maybe. But we have that, as well as, we do monthly webinars. We have our new websites, new blogs of information, the community, lots of information. So there's all kinds of way to get educational knowledge.
Thanks so much. Mr. Nappi?
I'll let Joe and Michael go because our sessions we have a limited number, but also for just suppliers. So for the listeners, I think it'd be better to hear from Michael and Joe.
Well, thank you very much. Well, we have a number of events. I'm just going to briefly talk about some of the upcoming ones. December 5th to 9th is going to be our color conference. So everything you want to know about color management. It's going to be a great event in Phoenix, Arizona, and we're thrilled to be announcing the return of the President's Conference, which is going to be held March 8 to 11, 2016 in Palm Desert, California, all about taking your business to the next level, really focusing on benchmarking and those sort of things for business management.
Thanks so much.
I think we have a number of face-to-face meetings. We try to do it on a very local level, whether it be in southeast Wisconsin, Chicagoland area, or Indianapolis throughout the year, but we will have a conference next fall about this time in the greater Chicagoland area. So I welcome anybody that's in one of the 3 states to join us for that conference.
Thanks so much. And now I'm going to turn it over to Sandy Hubbard, who's been monitoring the live stream and social media.
Okay, Mr. Macon. I heard your comment about 1994, and we remember what happened in 1994? Drupa, 3 digital presses premiered. It was the year that Apple and Kodak collaborated on digital cameras. There was the first inkjet, high-quality inkjet desktop printer came out, and Adobe Acrobat was starting to be adopted by the print industry. So I'm saying, does fear and discomfort on the part of printers motivate people to join the associations?
Well, first of all, I can't really reference 1994 because I was in high school at the time.
Yeah.
But as far as fear, I think healthy fear is good for any organization. I actually think it's good for a business. I think if you go into the audience and you talk to business people, entrepreneurs that are in your audience today, they're going to tell you that they wake up and they have a lot of fears, and that gets them going. So yes, there's a lot of legislative challenges that are facing our industry, and you should belong to your local trade association, GLGA, and become a member of Printing Industries of America or another one of these special groups. It's really important. So fear is important. It's not to be dominated. You've got to conquer your fears and win.
Okay, did anyone else want to address the question of fear and discomfort in terms of attracting new members?
Well, I put it in a different perspective. Fear is a good thing, and I think one of the things that I would want to leave here with is we're letting other organizations and industries define us. And if that's not fearful, it should be. So now when we talk about environmentalists, they're telling us we're not a sustainable industry. That's not right. When we talk about big corporations, they're telling us they'll want to save money, so let's not print. That's not right. What we need to make sure as leaders in our industry is instill a level of concern and fear to make sure that we respond to those in such a way to say, no, our industry is very sustainable. Not only that, we grow trees for the purpose of paper and wood and other things like that. All right, and the same thing when we talk about big organizations out there that say, let's save a tree and don't print this. That's not their motivation behind it, and we all know that. I don't think enough of us are taking an active enough role. And when I mean active, I don't mean a crazy person going out there waving your hands. Just a little byline on the end of your email that says, you know what? Feel free to print this because it's okay, and this is why. All right. That's one aspect of our industry that I think we need to do a much better job in. I mean, tongue in cheek, but when I when I leave church every Sunday, I tell my kids, all take bulletins because this is what's putting you through college, okay? All right? The fact is, we want to use print. We want print to be used. And I want all my statements to be sent to me in the mail. I don't want to depend upon to go out and reach them to push to me what I think it should be ink on paper. And I'm okay for people that don't want that, but I don't want people to decide that for me. I think that should. And I think we all ought to make, as an industry, everybody here ought to be a little bit more passionate about when they see that little byline, all right? They ought to feel insulted by that and want to do something about that. And that's the one fear that I think we need to get more into our industry, and it is our responsibility, not the associations that our responsibility, not two sides, not print council, not organizations do. It's up to each of us to do that together. And there's a lot of good groups out there that do this, all right? But it's up to us to do it one person at a time.
And if you don't have that healthy fear, and you don't have organizations working on your behalf, for example, knock wood, and please knock wood there, every singular do not mail initiative that has come before this country on a state-by-state region has been defeated by organizations like GLGA and Printing Industries of America, because we are standing up for this industry. And so, you know, a lot of the electronic marketers can't say the same, because we have do not call lists, we have DVRs. That's the beauty of print. I mean, you can turn off your DVR, you can do all these sort of things. You can't. Print is non-invasive. It's the best form of communications. And so, yes, we fight hard for the industry.
Okay, this is a last statement question, kind of, we all are aware of this. In the 90s and 2000s, if you were a member of the Craftsman Club and you said so, and someone was a member of, say, an executive group, and they'd be like, you know, there was so much kind of competition between groups, and when people talked about collaboration or working together or merging together, there was a lot of So where are we today with collaborating with each other in terms of leveraging?
Go ahead, Karma.
Okay, where are we today? Well, I think we all need to work together. That is the key. We're all into it for the same reason, right? To help our members if we're associations, and I think it's there are a lot. Budgets are constrained on the implant side, so member side, on the vendor side. I mean, there's a lot of money out there, but you have to use it wisely. So it makes more sense if you're merging together, or if you're working together, at a place like this where we can come together and say, hey, spend your money in one place where we can see everybody, talk to everybody, give them the education that they need, the networking opportunities, the benchmarking ideas. Then I think it's a good thing to work together.
Skip?
Well, first of all, I think it's inevitable. If you as I mentioned before, the lines are blurring here, folks. It's dots on paper, it's information, and it's got to be a situation where we continue to move closer and share information and content, networking, all of these things with each other. We've got a program going on in Vancouver next month, and it's Explore, BCPIA, and BFMA. We've come together because these individual meetings in these cities, it's become more difficult to build mass. So what we're trying to do now is get together with other associations, share some of the benefits, give them access to your website, whatever. The membership fees are important, but the transfer of information is even more important.
Thank you very much.
And I would say this event is a collaboration of associations that have been doing this for 35 years. Graph Expo and Print is three associations that came together, Printing Industries of America, then the National NAPL, and NPES to do this. And I would tell you, the people sitting around this, we have 50 co-located events, more than 50, at this show. That's about collaboration, what all these people are doing in addition to the show. So it exists, it's happening, and there should be more of it, but let's not forget, we sit here today because of an industry collaboration.
And And we routinely collaborate on the legislative front. Certainly all of the affiliate organizations are very much a part of what Printing Industries of America brings to the table. And when it comes to things that are fighting our industry, whether it be postal reform or patent trolls, which are the lowest scum of the earth, your trade associations work together. It becomes what is in the best interest of the member, not what is in the best interest of a particular CEO of a trade association. And I think when we do that more frequently on the legislative arena, we can see our success.
And Mr. Lyman, I just want to follow up with Mr. Maker for 1 second. I appreciate the collaboration that's going on, but I believe the question was more in line with merging. We all know that there's been merging rumors, merging attempts. Where do we go from here? Let's not rehash what's happened, but let's talk about the future. How do we help the community with being able to be in one place and get all the information in one place? I think that's what the question was asking.
Well, I'm very pleased to announce that today...
PrintMediaCentr and Printing Industries of America.
You heard it here first.
have merged.
And of course, you'd have to be a green alien to believe that took place. It's a very difficult question. It's something that I know that our organizations have struggled with for a very long time, and there is no easy answer. For a lot of the constituents, it's as simple as we want one voice, one organization, but I would stress once again that our industry is a huge industry. It's a very diverse industry that's not homogenized. There are many segments, many components, and yes, many individual associations within that space. There have been consolidations, of course. Printing Industries of America consolidated with the Graphic Arts Technical Foundation, for example. Epicom is the consolidation of the MFSA and NAPL, so there are more and more consolidations that are taking place, and there probably will be more in the future. But as of September what are we today? The
13th or 14th.
No news.
Except for our merger. Yes. Mr. Lyman?
I was just going to say, of those that's sitting at the table, we actually did merge. We merged with Printing Industries of Illinois and Indiana to create Great Lakes Graphics Association. So Wisconsin, Illinois, Indiana, and we did it for the reasons a lot of printers understand. It's stamping out redundancy, providing more efficiency, having a bigger pool of money to be able to serve the members better, and that's the only reason we did it, is to be able to provide more services and benefits. And I wanted to go back to talk about the fear. Most of our members that are coming on board don't belong to the association. That's not the impetus to get them to join. The reason they join is a need, and a lot of times when they join the association, we have 94% retention. The reason why they retain membership is because we're able to not only identify and provide a benefit in terms of that need, we identify other needs that they have. So drilling down farther and understanding exactly what services and benefits can benefit that company the most, we do a pretty good job of retaining that member. So hats off to all the associations. I think we're all that way. We identify, if somebody joins because they have a need, and then we identify other needs and provide even more benefit to their membership experience.
And we're pretty much going to wrap it up now. If you could just let everybody know how they can get in touch with you. Maybe you don't have social media, which I'm going to talk to you about after this.
No, I do. I have LinkedIn.
Okay.
Yeah, gone to my LinkedIn page.
I'm going to get you on Twitter by the end of this event. But tell people your website, if
Absolutely.
you're walking around the show, where they might meet with you, anything like that.
Absolutely. So we have a Facebook page. We have a LinkedIn page. Our website is glga.info, and we have a number of subdomains that provide a great deal of different types of information based on different divisions within a company. So please visit us.
Thanks so much. Michael?
Well, think of the printing industry, and our website is printing.org. Very easy to remember, printing.org. I'm on LinkedIn and Facebook and, of course, Twitter, and I'm really desperately trying to get to that 1,000 Twitter followers. So if you could follow me at mmakinprint.
Everybody
That's
follow
mmakinprint. I want to get to those 1,000 followers, okay, so that I can write Angelina Jolie and say, look at me.
also on LinkedIn, Twitter, things like that. But best way to get hold of me is rjnappy at gasc.org. Actually, it's rnappy. rjnappy is my Twitter account. For my email, it's rnappy@gasc.org.
And I'll just add that Graph Expo is graph_expo and at NPES, and everybody at home and here, if you're on Twitter, the hashtag is Graph Expo, and that hashtag is actually active all year long. It's not just event-centric, and it's always a great place to share information because you've created a community here, so thank you. Karma?
Well, you can visit our website at ipma.org. We are also on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook. You know, we're really getting into all the social media. I'd like to just get 100 followers. I'm new, so at IPMA
he's gonna
Karma,
follow you.
IPMA. So
Thanks so much.
You can get more information in touch with Explore at explore.org, xplor.org. If you want to email me, it's simply skip, S-K-I-P, at explore.org. All of our social media, Twitter, we're on LinkedIn, we're on Facebook. We've got it all because Deborah does it for us, so.
You're not supposed to tell people.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. She helps Chad do it, so, anyway, okay.
And it's explore_INT for international. I want to thank you all so much for joining us today. This was very informative. It's going to be put up on YouTube. I can almost guarantee you it's going to be one of the most viewed videos afterwards. I really appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for everyone watching and at home. And we have a great event with HP Inkjet coming up with coffee, tea, snacks. So anyone within the sound of my voice, free food.